In August 1987, the regional television station TV8 at Swanhill presented a special Newshour report on my Botel project.
Australia-wide, the conflict centres around a motel development on the Murray River. Town residents are protesting at the plan, saying it's an idea that won't float.
Bob Carr was the New South Wales Planning and Environment Minister at the time. I had written to him because I wanted to start a houseboat business on the Murray River. I wanted a mooring licence so I could build, sell and rent houseboats. I was being frustrated by the authorities. Bob's plan was a draft and it did not come into effect until September 1987.
Saying it's an idea that won't float.
As the Murray River flows through the heart of the Red Gum country, a controversy is brewing along its banks. Nearly one-half of the residents in Barham say they don't want the town's biggest resource disturbed.
It was no coincidence that for 8 months prior to this TV report, the local newspapers had a field day on reporting derogatory articles about the project. Click the link on this channel to read the articles.
Maury Furlan, a local developer, doesn't quite see it that way. For over a year, he has been designing his first-of-a-kind Botel complex that he claims will enhance the river's attraction and the town's economy.
One of the aims of the Botel is to promote an interest and awareness in the river. That's certainly not done now, and I personally believe that, yes, that has to be the result of the Botel here at Barham.
The development, a restaurant and accommodation units, form a floating platform. Mr. Furlan says the Botel is environmentally safe and structurally sound. Of course, with the development comes the need for parking facilities, and this is where Mr. Furlan proposes to do just that, right here behind the School of Arts building. But that's when he came up against his strongest opposition in the form of the Barham Progress Association. Now, it's interesting to note that the association gave their approval to the project in principle last year, but their sentiments have changed considerably since that time. Their reason? They say it will destroy the beauty of the river.
The Eagles were the original settlers of the Barham district. Postbox number 1 indicates the connection between the Eagles and the Barham Progress Association. The one-time president of the group moored his houseboat behind the School of Arts Hall. Patrons' cars parked on the lawn behind the School of Arts Hall. The group asked me to choose an alternative location. I did that and moved it upstream behind the council caravan park. My Botel project was designed to cater mainly for busloads of punters that attended the pokie clubs along the river. They were desperate for short-stay accommodation. Here is a view of the Botel taken from the bridge joining Kundruk and Barham over the Murray River. Before council and the planners got involved in this project, the local member had written to the Maritime asking them to approve it. It's clear that Maritime were the consent authorities and not the council.
I'm glad you came because now Swanhill and a few of those other places will know about this project.
The Murray Downs homestead was part of the Kidman dynasty. They sold it in 1990. The development became a poker machine club, but you would not know that from the Smithson's information.
We do not want it on the Murray River, whether it's in Barham or anywhere else.
This letter from the association supporting the development is no longer valid. Mr. Pepper says closer study has changed their position. What would you say to those people who would think that a development like this would be advantageous to the people of Barham, stimulating the economy?
Well, he might tell you a lot of things, but there is plenty of places he could build a motel here. If he built a motel, he'd get all the cooperation in the world. The motels here, I think, have one of the highest occupancy rates around. All he's got to do is go and buy a bit of land and build a motel.
Crown Land advised that I could occupy the bed of the Murray River in 2 ways, a special lease or a tenancy at will, namely an occupational licence. My solicitors got me a private occupational licence.
The Botel development application has opened the floodgates to a lengthy approval process. The Crown Lands Department that owns the land literally underwater is conducting its own study.
I also reached an agreement with Crown Lands for a special lease. There is a note at the bottom of this form that the lawful registration had been completed.
7 other government agencies have been asked for their input before the Shire tackles this first-of-its-kind request.
From the feedback we're getting from different government departments, I'd say that it probably is unique in Australia.
This is Peter Drummond, the so-called planning officer. In actual fact, he was the health inspector. Smithsons were the real planners. They were contracted by Bob Carr's department to destroy my project.
That's why we are very cautious with treating the proposal very carefully, taking all care and concern.
If the Shire approves the Botel project, Mr. Furlan says his certain success in Barham will allow him to build Botels in towns across Australia. He says time and patience are on his side, and he won't be put off by his detractors.
You can look around today and look at the number of people down here enjoying the river. There isn't any. With the Botel over there will be at least 20 down there today. What they'll be doing is sitting around on a deck like this and having a coffee, probably talking between locals and tourists, and talking about the river. They'll be talking about the history of the river, why it's here, why Barham is here, and I think that's a good thing, not just for Botel but for the locals and especially for the river.